In my last video I turned Flappy Bird into a 3D horror game. That got me thinking, what other classic game could I turn into a horror game? That's when the game Snake came to mind. Snake is not a horror game at all. And it is also 2D, so this makes it the perfect game. If you somehow don't know what Snake is, let me quickly break it down. The goal is to basically eat apples or dots on the screen to grow your tail until you crash into something. To start off, we need to open Unity and create the movement for the player. Now you might have noticed that the snake moves around in a grid. It can move up, down, left and right, so we need to create a grid first. I made it so that it spawns cube prefabs with a set spacing in between, and a value to set how wide and tall the grid should be. With the grid finished, we can make the movement for the player. Based on the grid, the player moves every 0.2 seconds to the next grid block. With this method, it makes sure that the player is always perfectly aligned with the grid. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never seen a snake without a body. So I need to figure out a way to add a body to the head that moves like a snake. Let me tell you, this was not easy to figure out.
What the hell?
And this was probably one of the hardest things I had to make in this game. But no worries, as the professional developer I am, I managed to make it work. It basically saves the head's position every time the snake moves. Then the first body segment moves towards that position, and the other body segments follow the one in front of them. And when you have a lot of body segments, it actually looks like a snake. Now we have the movement of a snake, however, these are just some spheres, so it doesn't actually look like a snake. So it is time to use one of my favorite smoothie making machines, Blender. I started to work on the head of the snake. And I have a decent amount of experience in Blender and 3D modeling, but no one told me why it was so difficult to make a snake model. Somehow everything I made looked like a damn frog. Eventually I got a decent result and started praying that the textures would make up for it. And for the body, I just used the head and reshaped it a bit. I tested the models in Unity and I'm happy with it, so that means it is time for the textures. I ended up on this brown texture, but I wasn't sure if I liked it. Then I remembered that this version of Snake from Google has a blue snake, so I ended up making the snake blue instead, which looks way better. And for some reason this caused my PC to lag a lot, but maybe that is because of the fact that I have Unity, Blender, 2 files of Substance Painter running, I am recording in OBS and I have like 100 tabs open. Once I finished the snake, I got addicted again to 3D modeling and decided it was a good idea to make the entire environment. Anyways, I imported the grid from Unity to Blender and made 2 different grass textures. Then I made some terrain using the sculpting tool and made a ground texture for it. I also made a wall. The only issue is that it looks like it comes straight out of Minecraft. So I used a plugin to make it look damaged and it has 200,000 vertices. Yeah, I definitely need to optimize this. Okay, never mind. Eventually I managed to make a somewhat low poly optimized version. But I thought it still looked a bit blocky, so I started sculpting to create some distortion. To top it off, I made some old mossy looking texture for the wall. Then I exported everything to Unity and it looks very nice, except from the fact that this is supposed to be a horror game. So we have some work to do. Now before I horrified the game, I don't even know if that is even a word, I decided that it would be cool if you could switch from top view to third person mode to truly appreciate my amazing 3D model skills. Then it was time to add actual horror elements to the game, starting by simply making the scene darker and adding some fog. That is when I noticed that whenever I switch to third person mode, the fog just disappears. So I had to write some code to change the fog density based on which camera is active. I also decided to add some lights to make the scene a bit more dynamic. But it wouldn't make sense if there's a light but no light source. So I made this lamp by deleting the default Blender cube only to add it back again. But look how beautiful this lamp turned out. I actually want to hang this up on my house.
Man, not my house!
I added the lamp in Unity, but I didn't like how the light was just static. So I made a script to let the light randomly flicker. And for the finishing touch, I added some post-processing. After adding the 3D art and post-processing, I still felt like something was missing. so I decided to add some volumetric lighting, which absolutely makes the lights stand out and also gives a more eerie feeling in general. Now, one of the key functionalities of Snake is that when you eat an apple, the tail of the snake grows, which I somehow didn't add yet, so let's fix that. I started off by making this apple model and giving it a texture. Then I need a way to spawn the apple on a random tile. I also need to check which tiles are being blocked by the player, so the apple doesn't get spawned inside of the player. I decided to use a raycast for this. Or well, 225 to be specific. And when a raycast hits something, it turns red and your computer will explode. Now the apple can only spawn on an empty tile. And when you eat an apple, your tail grows and a new apple gets spawned on an empty tile. But normal apples are boring, so I decided to add 2 more apples. I made it so that it randomly spawns one of these 3 apples, with the normal one having the highest chance of being spawned. When you eat this apple, you get a jump scare. Because what would a horror game be without a jump scare? Now you might be wondering what the 3rd apple is. When you eat the 3rd apple, you need to play a minigame. When you click on all the apples in time, nothing will happen. But when one of the apples reaches the bottom line, you get a blurry effect that reduces your vision for 10 seconds. I also decided to make a different texture for the 3rd apple, which it turned out you can't even see it when you're playing the game. The entire game is almost done, but I somehow didn't add a way to lose yet, so you can still go through your own body. So I quickly fixed this by just checking the collisions of the head, playing the jump scare and disabling the movement of the player. Now nothing happens at all, so I also added a end screen that displays your score. And as you might have noticed, I also added a blurry background, which looks super nice, but it took me way too long to make for just a simple background. I almost threw my PC out of the window trying to make this background work. Now last but definitely not least is the sound effects, which really makes this game complete, especially with the ambience. And now that the game is done, it is time for some gameplay. Yo, whoever made this is truly a genius. Just look at these graphics and gameplay. I don't know, this might be better than the original Snake. Also, if you want to play this game for yourself, you can download it for free on itch.io, link is in the description, and let me know what your high score is in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching this video and until the next one.